Welcome to another episode of Inside the Mind of a Storm Chaser. Before we dive into this, I just want to say thank you so very much for helping me reach 100 plus plays on Spotify. It's a huge honor and a massive blessing to be put in a place where not only can I give knowledge and talk about things storm chasing, but also meet and talk with experienced chasers like Zach Hall and my chase partner, Mr. Cole Outlaw. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce this special episode of Inside the Mind of a Storm Chaser.
Just so everyone's clear, this is not the finale.
No.
Not
the finale.
That sounded very finale-like. But no. We're still kicking around. We haven't been shot in the leg yet.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I promise this is not the last episode. So today, guys, I'm going to be teaching you about what goes into a storm chase before you're out into the field, which includes.
You're not even gonna intro me?
I think this is ritual at this point. Excuse me. I have a special buddy with me today.
God, it's like this guy doesn't even care about me. It's not like I upload everything and make it sound good.
I'm sure you guys know who's back, Mr. Eli Hill.
Guess who's back?
Welcome
back again.
Back. Okay.
Sharknado's back.
No, I'm not telling a friend either.
I'm gonna get eaten.
No. Well,
maybe. Give me a chainsaw. We'll figure it out.
Good.
I really tried to convince Jai to watch Sharknado with me earlier,
and it didn't work.
He did not want to.
I did not fold.
I will try to convince him one of these days. We're gonna binge the whole thing, and then we're gonna put it on a tier. We're gonna tier list. We're gonna rank all of the Sharknado movies.
Jesus Christ. So today, guys, again, I'm gonna be teaching you about what goes into a storm chase. Mr. Eli Hill, as you've heard,
I'm the student,
is here. He is the student again. He's placed into the hot chair. We're going to be teaching.
I'm going to be quizzed.
Teaching. Yep. Oh Lord!
Please don't give me a quiz, man. I'm done with school.
Eventually you will be quizzed.
I quizzed you because you actually know this stuff.
Well, me teaching you should be memorizing some of this, or at least just starting to, process some of this, and becoming a better chaser. You
chase storms. That's all you do. That's it. And it changed my mind, and that's what you're here to do today. It's changed my mind that all you do is just get in a car and drive around.
Okay.
And it's raining.
Anyway, but yeah, so I'm gonna be, teaching you about what goes into a chase before you're out into the field, which includes watching weather models to see if they're being consistent in terms of severe weather, or like, say, if you want to go.
Weather models?
No. Sometimes it's an up and down sequence. So sometimes you'll have a day where it's like, oh my God, tornado day. And then the next day it's like, oh, nothing's actually going to happen. The next day, oh snap, we're back. Chat, we're back.
Guys, we're so back.
Back
to our peak.
And then the day of, you have multiple ups and downs where storm mode may be an issue, which we'll get into that, and some other little nitty gritty things that could affect a chase. So
the gritty?
The
nitty gritty.
You want to look at your temperature and dew points to make sure that we have a substantial amount of surface heating as well as moisture, but that also goes into how much cloud cover we have on the day of. Looking for any subtle perturbations or short waves, which are mini engines that help storms fire in a subtle forcing environment. And we'll get into your forcing mechanism. That'll help, with a discrete storm mode. And finally, pinpointing our target area, choosing where to go on a severe weather day.
You just get a dartboard, put up a map of Arkansas.
No.
And then
it could be anywhere that has severe weather, like
Yeah, you know how the radars have the different colors to signify?
Oh my God!
It's like a bullseye.
No,
it's like a dartboard.
Oh my God!
So if you just aim good, then you can get to the best spots.
Let's just get into it.
My man's disappointed in me.
Firstly, our weather models are mathematical estimates of specific weather conditions, patterns that are possible given the correct ingredients that are readily available. So if we expect a severe weather event, we look for some specific factors that could or possibly contribute to the event coming to fruition, which includes, and I do have this written down. I do have a script, guys.
You spoiled it.
A high amplitude, negatively tilted trough up in the upper atmosphere. We have big pressure, big high pressures or low pressures moving in from, say, the northwest, and they interact with the Gulf of Mexico moisture that gets brought up, and that cool, dry air with that warm, moist air. I'm pretty sure you already know that's how thunderstorms grow and everything like that. But this goes into more of the science behind it. A tightly wound surface low. I'm sure you know know surface lows because you've seen hurricanes, and that's pretty much what it is. An area of low pressure that storms like to be around, and that's how they form and stuff like that. But hurricanes, again, they're different because you're in an area out in the open waters that allows for storms to kind of, take shape and circle around that area of low pressure. There's a lot of friction that the surface low has to deal with when it forms over land. So there's not as many storms that fight, and there's not as much moisture being fed into those surface lows. So you want to have a tightly wound surface low forming and bringing with it warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, meeting a cool and dry air mass, which creates that unstable atmosphere that storms feed on. Then you want the winds feeding into the surface low, that help pull that moisture northward from the Gulf of Mexico to back. When I say back, you want them to be out of the south or southeast. So you want them pointing almost due north or due northwest. So when we say backing, they're gonna come out of the southeast and south. And then what that does is it allows for warm air advection to take place. That's the moisture being pulled up. That's the term for it. And then you want a layer of dry air atop of that moisture so it acts as a cap on top of the atmosphere that thwarts thunderstorm development until, all of our ingredients are in place. And then after the cap, that we call it, breaks, after being lifted and cooled, that's how you know it's prime time. Any questions so far?
That's a lot of technical jargon.
It is.
That I'm shoving in my brain. I think I'm good right now. Teach. Continue with the lesson plan.
Okay. Stop me if you need to.
I'll stop you whenever I want to.
You're going to stop me in the middle of a sentence. Okay.
Maybe.
Secondly.
Stop.
Okay. So next, after we look at our weather models and such, we're going to continue monitoring our moisture source and our temperatures in a given region, because we have to get a right amount of surface heating that builds our instability. Our instability is pretty much our energy, our food that the storms have to feed off of to maintain and such like that. The higher our instability, the more energy for the storms to feed on. And it helps the storms maintain severe status. Issues with heating though. We can have too much surface heating in an environment which can crater our dew points. So you've seen in some cases I don't know if you have or not, but if it gets way too hot outside, say it's like 90 and our dew point is 70, our dew points may drop 10 to 15 degrees. And that's solely from how dry our surface can get in a matter of seconds, or not seconds, but a couple of hours. That can lead to more outflow, or the storm kind of losing, not losing steam, but more so losing its moisture, and a lot of dry air getting into the storm, which can, thwart further intensification. And the overall tornado threat subsides and it switches to a damaging wind and maybe a large hail threat, because it gets elevated above that dry layer, and all the moisture that's above that dry layer is still adequate, and it keeps those hydrometeors in the storm longer because there's not as much, not much moisture, not much over moistening to, I don't know how to say it without, I guess just there's not too much moisture that the storm, because the storms rain, we have hail sometimes, and it floods when a storm passes by in some areas. So there can be too much moisture not too much moisture, but all you need to know is dry air, outflow production in storms, overall tornado threat subsides, and we go from a tornado threat to a damaging wind and large hail threat. Other issue, like I said, is too little moisture or just-in-time moisture for our target area. If we have too little moisture, mostly your 40 degrees to 50 degrees, that promotes, like I said, outflow in storms because of the lack of adequate moisture. And sometimes storms won't even fire because of how little moisture that we have. There's gonna be storms, but they just may not last as long as if we had, ample 60, 70 degree dew points. We can have meager, like I said, we can have meager moisture and still get storms to fire, but they'll lean more towards that outflowy mess than the surface-based convection with enough moisture, which leads me to just-in-time moisture. Storms that fire when moisture is just impinging into the region tend to struggle until those 60s and higher dew points can reach the area. But like I said, we can still maintain storms in 40 to 50 degree dew points, but that surface heating will catch up and eventually choke those storms off due to the higher temperatures and dry air. Speaking of dry air, because that's different than surface heating, that's another key element of storm maintenance and storm behaviors. Towards the beginning, dry air out of the desert southwest, So out of the New Mexico area, the desert and everything like that, dry air will get transported atop the moisture into a given region and will act as a stout cap on the area until the cap can break and storms can fire. Dry air can make or break your severe weather events because they can effectively choke off any convection that tries to fire, or like I said before, it can halt storms altogether for a little bit, or if dew points are starting to impinge onto the region. Once that moisture starts becoming dominant, we're not going to have very widespread convection. It's going to be pop-up showers, and they're going to be fairly weak. If dry air does win the battle, however, storms may fire, but they'll struggle to stay alive. Eventually, after your greater forcing comes into the region, storms will fire, but due to the dry air, they'll remain elevated. And like I said before, elevated means that they'll produce damaging wind, large hail, and maybe brief spin-ups as all the storms merge into a line, because that forcing is essentially forcing storms to go up along it. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a forcing mechanism?
I'm wondering a lot of things.
They can vary on each setup, but typically your forcing mechanism could be subtle short waves rotating through your larger scale trough, which are mini engines, like I said, that help storms. Your dry line circulation that extends from the surface low back down to the southwest, or sometimes due south. An Arctic cold front, I know you know what a cold front is. It acts as a wedge of cold air over the surface and forces storms to go up out in a warm, moist environment, because that temperature difference forces those storms to travel up and along that wedge of cold air, and they go up very, very quickly. Very rapid storm development along cold fronts. And then we have subtle confluence bands out in the open warm sector, out in the open warm moist air, which is what a warm sector is, or the forcing from the trough itself that can affect the energy. Well, the forcing from the trough itself as its flow, which is the energy that rotates through the base of the trough, rotates through into the region, and it forces storms to go up on that. Each forcing mechanism is different and can affect how a certain event will play out. Most of them are present in each risk except confluence bands. And the way I learned how confluence bands worked was from a buddy of mine, and I'm still confused sometimes, but Trey from Convective Chronicles on YouTube, go check him out. This is where I got this information from, him talking about it. So confluence bands are areas of slightly convergent or confluent flow that help storms grow out in the open warm sector. They aren't present in every setup because it depends on a multitude of things like the flow or energy of the trough, which I know you heard that. I know.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Guys were laughing because we heard our buddy in the other room. He opened a soda and we were like, wait, what is going on?
I wasn't sure what was happening. I was like looking around like, what is it coming from the kitchen? And they're oh my God.
But anyway, confluence bands aren't present in every setup. It depends on a multitude of things. Energy surrounding the base of the trough, which the more energy, the more forcing that's impinging onto a region, which would allow for less potential areas for discrete storms to fire. The progression of your initiating boundary, which is your cold front or your dry line. So, with all that, I say this. Choosing your target area depends on everything. Okay, I'm gonna put a pin in it. Come on. I'm gonna put a pin in it.
Depends on a dartboard.
No.
That's what I was doing. I was miming a dart.
Oh my God.
But also, how much of this is an average Joe weather storm chaser gonna know? How much do they even need to know of this?
Really, what you need to know is how hot it's gonna be, dew points. You kind of have to know a little bit in terms of meteorology, like at least some degree, because you want to know where your dry air is coming from. How much dry air there is. You want to be able to read a sounding, which I'll teach you how to do that, but this will have to be, a later time. And then you just want to know, storm-wise, when you look at your weather models, what weather conditions are favorable in that specific environment. Say, the models could be showing, let's see, the North American model. We have storms going up in western Oklahoma. Fire along a dry line, it shows a sounding. Or we take a sounding out in western Oklahoma to see what storm mode it is, or like what the ingredients look like. It's pretty much a graph showing your CAPE, which is your energy, or your instability, how much moisture above the surface there is. So the deeper the moisture above the surface is pretty much a good sign, because that's a moist surface, a very moist and unstable surface, not much dry air impinging into it. And it shows your temperature gradient, or your temperature also as it goes up. Your temperature and dew point, you don't want those to be separated by much, because you want to, because like I said, you don't want your surface to be so hot that storms can't feed off of the moisture at the surface, which can help them grow and everything like that, which can lead to outflow. You want a very moist surface so it can continue feeding off of that energy and everything like that. So that's really what you want to look for. It's not so much that you need to know everything, but you want to have some degree of minor knowledge of meteorology, just if you want to storm chase, because you want to know what the environment is like and what it favors on certain chases. Sometimes you may be out there chasing a wind event, a derecho, for example, a line of severe thunderstorms with 90 plus mile per hour winds.
Oh my God.
So that's why I say, like, certain weather events, certain environments favor different weather setups. Tornadoes, you want shear instability, and your lifting mechanism. Those are the three keys, I'll put it as, that you want for a tornadic event.
Specifically tornadoes.
Because the weaker the shear, the better hail growth. Too much shear, or like a lot of shear, doesn't favor hail growth, because in the storm's hail growth area, the winds changing with rapid succession doesn't favor, and you've got hailstones flying all over the place, and they don't have a chance to sit in the storm and continue getting water on them, which can lead to bigger hail. The less amount of shear, the more time those hailstones can continue to grow, and then eventually they fall as maybe golf ball. We've had grapefruit size hail. So
Jesus, that's the dangerous part.
Yeah. I mean, every setup is different. Every setup is more dangerous. And I guess it just really depends on, it just really depends on the setup.
Mm-hmm. And location.
Probably. And location. Because that leads me to my next point. The Rocky Mountains out west act as a forcing mechanism in their own right. When air travels up the Rockies, it gets forced up, and sometimes they can form storms, like over Denver, Colorado. Mm-hmm. They've had multiple tornadoes before near the metro because they're just so close to the mountains that anytime a severe weather event happens out there, storms can go up very easily over the mountains, and they attain rotation quite a lot because of the amount of readily available energy that's already out there. The altitude. And you don't need a 60, 70 dew point out west. You could get 50, 55, and that's more than adequate moisture, because the higher elevation you are, the less moisture that you're going to need for those storms to feed off of, because it's not like they're that high off of the ground. So especially with tornadoes, any eddy or like very small area of like a spin up could easily reach the ground. That's why landspouts, especially landspouts, are so common out there, is because any little area of just small convergent or like temperature difference in a short area can really feed those areas of spin.
The thing about you said that the ground needs to be a certain like wetness.
So the surface excuse me, I should have mentioned this. Out in the plains, like the southern Great Plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, areas like that. The deep south, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, some of Arkansas, stuff like areas like that. We require a lot more moisture because the ground is a lot lower than areas out west.
That's what I was about to say, because Colorado is very dry.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why there's a bunch of like wildfires and stuff that happen in Colorado.
Ish. But so if you get 55 degree dew points out, it doesn't take much moisture out west to get the job done.
So the higher you are,
the less moisture that you're going to need.
Okay. So it's probably just easier.
It's just easier for the storms to feed on the moisture source because they're not having to do a bunch of pulling, which again leads me to another thing. The Deep South, I'm sure you know, has seen its fair share of significant tornadoes, EF2 plus, like the violent category. 2011, being the golden standard for severe weather outbreaks, has just, that's the golden, the 2011 super outbreak was the golden standard because you had so much moisture. You had 75 to really high 70 dew points in that area. Very nice surface heating after. I'll give you a breakdown of the event. So in the morning hours of the 27th, there were 3 rounds. There was the stuff that happened on the 26th, that line coming through, all of it, just fizzling out and stuff like that. And then there was a second line that came through in the morning hours that produced numerous EF2s, EF3s. There are like a couple EF3s and a lot of EF2s that knocked out power for much of Alabama and Mississippi. So when it came time in the afternoon for the third round, the main event, discrete storms all over the place. You had multiple just significant long tracking tornadoes on the ground for miles. There was a storm that formed back in Mississippi, near Philadelphia, Mississippi. Mississippi. Oh my God. But there was a storm that formed back in Mississippi, traveled all the way from southeast Mississippi all the way up to like northwest portions of Georgia. That's over, and this is a single supercell. Like, it didn't produce tornadoes the entire time. It produced a lot of tornadoes, but it didn't produce tornadoes the entire time on its way. But it was steady state because of how explosive and how unstable the environment was that those storms could feed off of. So like when I say it just depends on the setup and the amount of moisture and surface heating, because the Little Rock cell of 2023, the only thing we were waiting on was surface heating. The environment was already primed. We just were waiting on if the sun would come out, and the sun came out. When it did, it continued to just increase our instability values, our energy, and then the rest was history. Along tracking EF3 through Little Rock Metro. And then right after that one, you had another one on the ground from just north of Jacksonville, or like around that area, and it kept going. And then you had another one out to the east, and that went up into Tennessee. So, like I said, when an environment is that unstable and that explosive, it doesn't matter. Like, the rules go out the window at that point, and you can get violent long tracking tornadoes across the state. So, any questions so far?
No, I'm just talking about historical Arkansas tornadoes.
Well, I was just giving you a couple examples. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Give me something more interest.
Oh my god. Whatever. Whatever.
This is interesting to me, Eli. You don't get to tell me what's interesting or not.
Lord have mercy. Actually, we'll take a quick break. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Oh, God. Now I'm being
It's not going to be, it's not crazy. Because...
Sharknado.
No, it's not Sharknado.
No, that's my answer.
No, absolutely not. If you could chase...
Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no.
Oh, Lord.
I think that's the third one.
Cole, what's your opinion about Sharknado? Absolutely
not. Oh my god, guys! I'm gonna tell you, I obviously y'all know I edit these. When I first heard Cole's reaction to when Jai I'm gonna ask you a goofy question. All he said was Sharknado. Cole was like, absolutely not. That was the funniest thing. Oh my god,
Lord, that's like a lot of people's favorite part, from what I was told.
It's so quick. It's so quick.
Cole. Sharknado. Absolutely.
Absolutely not. I haven't even watched it. I just saw a 20-second clip.
But this is a essential, and a question that I'm probably gonna ask future storm chasers that come on here.
You do know I'm not a storm chaser,
I understand
right?
that. But if you were storm chasing, what would be your go-to storm chasing food or snack?
I could just say what you and Cole said.
Don't you dare! I will say though, beef jerky.
No, Shell's gas station.
Loves gas station.
Loves gas station.
That's pretty much right. That's pretty much right.
I mean, in terms with storm chasing, it'd have to be snack food. It couldn't be like a full course meal or something.
Well, yeah, but we have chasers stopping at McDonald's half the time.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're doing storm chasing, especially a long storm chase, you don't want to be stopping nowhere.
Yeah.
You're going to need to stock up. So I figure snacks would be like the main thing. Like
that and energy drinks for sure.
Well, I don't drink energy drinks.
Well,
most of them just taste bad.
Okay.
Dude, Red Bull tastes like battery acid.
That's literally what I've heard every time I talk about Red Bull to anybody.
It's battery acid.
It's not.
The only good electricity I like is a McDonald's Sprite. Okay, that's pure electricity, and that's good. It burns. It burns so good going down. I guess.
Okay.
I figure for a snack, if I were to go with y'all for something,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have like a snack of choice. Probably just like a grab bag, chips. Jerky, I guess. Maybe like go to a gas station or Walmart and get like those small like sandwiches.
Oh,
Or like
the little
the-
like
or like the wraps
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, the pre-made.
Yeah, those are small, and some of those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Something like that, I guess. And then a drink, probably like a Powerade.
Okay.
I don't want to be drinking soda and then
Yeah. No.
and then just burping the whole
That's what
time.
I'm saying. That's what because when Cole said Diet Mountain Dew, I was like,
Dude, the carbonation would just
oh.
like make me feel so bloated.
Yeah.
That's why I like a good Powerade.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say Baja Blast because
Why the when I say Baja Blast?
Because Baja Blast is your favorite drink, just like
It's my favorite soda.
Mountain Dew Legend is mine.
It's a okay, listen. It's the legend.
It is the legend.
It's legendary.
It's fruity. It's
It's
just
it's good. No, Baja Blast is probably my favorite soda, but like I said, I probably wouldn't take a soda
Yeah.
with me. And granted, Baja Blasts are only going to be around for this year until they go away
Yeah,
in stores,
I know.
and then it'll come back in the summer. Because this is what like the Baja Blast 30th anniversary
I know.
or something. Which I'm like, didn't it like just come out?
Yeah.
But yeah, a Powerade.
Okay.
Probably blue Powerade.
Okay. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I'm a red boy.
I thought you were gonna say purple.
Oh no, I absolutely
Like
hate
grape.
I hate grape.
What's wrong? Why do people?
I
freaking,
hate grape.
Everyone
Mountain
hates grape flavored
Or
things,
Mountain Dew.
and I don't
Grape.
get it.
Dew. Grape Powerade. Grape Powerade is the only thing I hate because it's grape Mountain Dew. Or excuse me.
Are you okay? Are you having a stroke?
I'm tired. Okay, I'm sorry.
Why, when no
But-
one is talking about Mountain Dew. We're talking about Powerade.
Excuse me. Powerade. Purple. That's the only thing I hate. That's grape. I like grape other things.
Mm.
Grape Jolly Ranchers, for example. I love those.
Everyone hates grape Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I
get
them.
called a weirdo every single time
I
pick-
like them.
Yeah, they're great.
It's like probably grape and watermelon, or what I would say like favorite like artificial flavors.
Okay, I can give you that.
Because like watermelon candy and
Mhm.
anything watermelon artificially flavored does not taste like actual watermelon,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still good. Still freaking good.
Okay. Now, this is my other question. My first storm chase that you recorded when I
The
was in Little
Instagram
Rock,
Live
the
one?
Instagram Live
Yeah.
one. What was your reaction whenever you first saw that I actually like do this instead of me just
Well, I knew you
saying?
did it before then. That's I found out that you liked weather stuff before then.
Mhm.
Granted, when I recorded that Instagram Live, I was working at Walmart, so I was just on a Top Stock cart, like doing stuff on Top Stock. Meanwhile, it's playing your Instagram Live. Honestly, I think I said this in the 1.5 episode where
Okay.
I interviewed you that I was just shocked because you never talked about it.
Yeah.
You were someone who I know you liked anime.
Anime.
I knew you liked Sonic.
I'm a massive Sonic fan.
And I knew you were in choir.
Yeah.
And that's for the longest time. That's the main things I knew.
You thought I was that dry?
No, that's like the main three. There's a bunch of side stuff.
Okay.
But
Well, and then eventually theater.
well, that's how we met.
Well, yeah.
Like officially met.
Yeah.
Was theater, but but again, when we first met, that was you hadn't done theater at that point,
Mhm.
so you didn't know you liked it.
Yeah, no. Originally I didn't like it because I was.
I remember I gave you a pep talk.
You
for
did?
12 Angry Jurors.
Oh God.
I like behind the scenes, guys. This has nothing to do with weather chasing.
Yeah,
but
because I
it's
was playing a
little...
minority. So it scared me because I was like, that was the first time I like really had to get in character for
But
this.
well, you were playing a minority, but you weren't playing a stereotypical minority.
Yeah.
It was. This is some background on both of us, I guess. We first. I think you all know we first met during stage management, which is our acting high school class.
Mhm.
And we did a show, 12 Angry Jurors, which is 12 Angry Men, but it's modern day, so
Yeah, bite
they're
me.
jurors. And he was playing. What's funny is John was playing the minority, and I was playing the racist. So, I have a whole monologue at the very end about talking about those people
Yeah.
and them.
Yeah.
But before we went out, I think we were in the line
Mhm.
because on set we had a whole like juror room, and entered through an onstage door,
Mhm.
and we were waiting behind the door for the show to start. And I don't know if you were like walking away, freaking out or
Mhm.
something, or nervous, but I remember walking up to you, or you were in the bathroom or something.
Probably. In the
And then
bathroom.
I walked up to you and was like, look, I know it's very nerve wracking. I was nervous my first time on a stage. I was in 9th grade when I did this.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. As soon as you get out there and as soon as you start talking, you're going to get in the flow of it and you're going to own it. All right? Just walk out there and then just be the character. Don't worry about them, which most of the time you can't even see the audience because of lights in your face.
Yep.
But at that point, I was like, you're not even going to notice them. Just be in the character.
Mhm.
Be juror 5.
I was sure. Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And just own it.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we walked out there and you did.
Yeah. And then it was an experience. I will
It
say
is
that for
something
sure.
personal.
I had to say, who did I say that? Haven. I had to say that.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because she was like, look, he didn't. No, you said it to Angel.
Did
Playing
I?
juror 3. Because they were like, because I think I said something.
No. Because she was like, now, there isn't anything personal. And then, there's something.
Or maybe
personal.
it was juror 3 that said that.
Yeah.
And then juror 1 was like, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then
because they were trying to calm me down, because I said I used to be in a backyard filled
maybe it
with
still
garbage.
smells on me.
Yeah. And then he said something, and then Haven.
I think I have a clip of that. I
Yeah,
could probably
it's-
put it in
we
there
all
somewhere.
yeah.
Put it in here.
So
Just the audio. It is something personal.
I've lived in a slum all my life.
Now wait a second.
I used to play in a backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal.
I had to be very.
And hey, you went
Bad.
from juror 5 to playing Troy Bolton by the end of the year. So, it works out. It works out. You became the lead.
No.
And I became the lead's best friend
Oh God.
in the show.
That was.
Why am I feeling so wrong?
Why am I feeling so wrong? My head's in the game, but my heart's in the song. She makes this feel so right. Should I go for it? Better shake this. Yikes.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Make the pass, clean the. Whoa.
We have to do like a special episode where we just talk and nothing about storm chasing,
Yeah.
but we just talk about like theater. experiences and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll definitely do that. May be the next episode, to be honest. We'll
Which-
see.
I want to shout out my sister because she also gave me the same pep talk in 9th grade
Mhm.
because I was very nervous going out.
Mhm.
But she had already been in stage management or drama at least for a year at that point.
Yeah.
And she was like, just calm down, you got it. So I want to thank my widow sister. Ella, if you're listening, I love you.
She's going to punch you in the stomach next time she sees
Probably.
you.
Which people are like, what? How is she in a year earlier if she's your little sister?
Mhm.
Look, little as in height, not age. Okay?
Age,
She's
yeah.
my older sister.
But she's smaller than
But
me.
she's smaller. I'm literally the tallest in my family, so
You are.
everyone-
You are now.
I'm taller than my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taller than everyone in my family.
Your dad's what? 6'1"?
No, I'm 6'1".
You're 6'1".
He would probably be like 5'11".
Okay. He's around me.
5'11" or 6 foot exact. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I am the tallest in my family.
Okay.
So,
Well,
hey,
there you go.
any shorties want to come?
Beep, bob. Anyway,
Yeah, let me shoot my shot on the
Oh,
podcast.
brown chicken, brown cow.
Hey, I can add all these sound effects in post.
Anyway, it's
Alright.
better if I do it. But
Is it though?
back on topic. Choosing our target area
Darts.
and what you can do to be. I hate you. I hate you. It's not darts. Choosing your target
You should do
area.
that. You should do that one time. You should quickly print out a piece of paper and just dart it.
Just dart it.
Just dart it, and then maybe you get lucky and it flows that way towards y'all. Or if you
Cole, if you're listening to this,
That would be
we're doing
so
this.
funny.
We're gonna do it whenever we get a chance.
Make a YouTube channel.
I have a YouTube.
No. Like record a video of it. Make it into content. That would be so funny. In this video, we decided to throw a dartboard at our weather chasing area.
Oh my god! I'd rather just do a short at that point.
Honestly, short would probably get more traction than a
exactly
full-on YouTube
than a
video.
full-on YouTube video.
Oh
Then I
my
could do
God.
TikTok and then YouTube. Whatever. Anyway,
TikTok.
choosing your target area and what you can do to be the most prepared before you go chase. So, you want to choose an area that has the best ingredients set up at the perfect time that a forcing mechanism comes into play. So, your shear, instability, and lifting mechanism, which is the forcing. You want your shear, which is your winds that change with height, which is your winds that change with height that help rotation in a storm, sustain or become apparent. You want your instability, your energy that the storm feeds on, and a lifting mechanism, the warm front, dry line, or the cold front. Personally, I like chasing dry line setups because of two reasons. They're easier to chase because they fire fewer storms, sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time, than cold fronts. And two, because they offer a much more discrete natured storm mode because of how fewer the storms are. Dry lines, like I said, that warmer temperature or hot temperatures on the backside of them, but and cooler but much warmer, but still warm temperatures on the side ahead of it. And they offer it's a horizontal rotation, rotating column-ish. It's not so much just a single line across a plane. It extends up much further into the atmosphere, and they fire storms along them because of how it's just the moisture when they come into contact with that dry line. They're again forced up, but not to the point to where it's because the warm, moist side isn't too much of a temperature difference from, say, a cold front, which has very cold air on the backside, and it's still warm, moist air on the opposite side. That's a vast temperature difference in a quick succession. Temperatures and dew points fall quick on the cold side. You can go from, say, because we've done it before here, you can go from, say, 70 degrees to dang near 50 degrees as soon as that cold front passes through. Because winds are facing due north, or they're facing southeast. They're coming in from the northwest. So they're pointing towards the southeast. And they're quick. Cold fronts move quick. And with that, heavy wind and hail are the two main areas, or the main two storm behaviors that occur. Because with cold fronts being quick, there's not much time for any little eddy or like little area of spin to reach the surface. Sometimes they do. We've had a couple areas of we've had a couple tornadoes form off of cold fronts that have been strong, but that's because the cold front wasn't moving a whole lot because the surface trough, or not surface trough, but the trough as a whole wasn't moving all that fast. So in turn, your surface low is not going to surge so far, which in turn also, I know a lot of interns, your cold front isn't going to surge that fast.
We're going in circles at this point.
I know, right?
With all these
It's
turns.
coming full circle.
All these turns.
Coming
Just like a
full
tornado. Oh my
What?
God.
You did it!
You solved weather
You did it!
chasing.
Oh my God!
Guys, I should get a freaking degree.
One thing I did mention about your chase, like places that you can chase, confluence bands. I know I mentioned it earlier. It's an area of very convergent or confluent flow that can fire storms in a very discrete way out ahead of the line, out ahead of the dry line, out in the open warm sector, and stuff like that. They're discrete by nature, which is why sometimes they produce very large tornadoes, but they produce tornadoes anyway because they have the ingredients readily available already, since they're out by themselves, so they don't have to fight any other updraft or storm for those necessary ingredients. Out in the unstable environment ahead of the main forcing mechanism is where those confluence bands form. They allow for a storm to, more of a chance for a storm to form along them and attain rotational features better than one, say, near a cold front. You want to chase where conditions favor tornado genesis, but choose a spot that would favor storm discreteness rather than a storm going up and clustering together. But this depends on the target area. Like I said in the beginning, the Deep South, for example, numerous Mississippi setups have featured very strong shear. That's like a key thing, especially in the winter months. We have very strong shear, but not very much instability. So you want some small clustering, merging of those updrafts to kind of shield each other against the very strong shear, to allow one dominant, updraft to take over. Not so much that you have like an instant swall line or like an instant QLCS, quasi-linear convective system, which is that line of severe storms. Not a derecho, it's a little different, but just enough that would allow for a dominant updraft to take over and attain rotation. And those that do undergo tornado genesis much easier if the conditions maintain. With all the things that I've said, choosing your target area is really just how you, the chaser, wants to chase. It's not so much you have to follow the standard blah, 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 blah. You can really do whatever you want out there to a degree. You have to look at, certain features that would back up the reasoning why you're choosing a certain area. Certain chasers choose the dry line circulation because it offers lift along it, which can help maintain storms and fire storms, and they're discrete by nature. You can chase the warm front, which extends west to east near the surface low, because it extends out way farther up. You can chase the warm front, which is another source of or area of lift. But I say this wholeheartedly, and I say this with serious concern for storm mode. You need to be careful around the warm front because it can fire a ton of convection, which can be a detriment to your chase. Not so much to where you can't, backtrack and figure out, a plan number 2 and stuff like that. But it's more so just up to your preference and how you want to chase and how, say you want a photogenic tornado. You're going to want to chase one out in the open warm sector or near the dry line because they're discrete by nature and there's not going to be many storms dependent on how fast your lifting mechanism, say the dry line or your cold front, surges. If it's a fast moving front, you're not going to have much time for those storms to move off of that area of lift and essentially turn to the right and become tornado producers if your front is surging too much. Now, you're forcing getting to a region too slowly, which that's another thing that could be a detriment to your chase, is if there's not enough forcing at all, storms won't even fire. That could also be another thing that could really take you out of a chase and kind of just it calls itself at that point, and there's not really anything to chase. There have been a ton of systems, especially this year. 2024 has been the year of somewhat bust setups. And I say this so lightly. B-U-S-T, bust setups. Because the ingredients didn't fall through, or the ingredients were there, but there was no forcing or anything that would help fire storms or help maintain, them even forming at that point.
What about these last 2 days?
These last 2 days have been, and I did get out there and chase. It was quite fun.
We're recording this on November 7th, by the way. So the 5th and the 6th.
The 5th and the 5th. I'm pretty sure. We were up in, and I'll tell you guys about this November 5th chase because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were probably wondering because I posted on social media.
Yeah, I called Jai. I didn't even know he was storm chasing. I called him to
Just bother me.
to be an asshole, and so I I was like passing by his house, and then I was like, I saw the clouds, and I called him and was like, "Did you see the? You're like, did you see that weather outside? This is crazy.
Weather outside is frightful, but the fire's so delightful.
But the chase is so delightful."
Yes, sir.
So it was like,
Let me go.
And then I heard him start talking to someone, and I was like, "Are you actually chasing right now?"
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, all right."
The moment he got off the phone, we immediately got a tornado warning down to the south of us when we were already in pursuit of it. By the time I got off the phone with him,
Let's just say that I'm the good luck charm.
I wouldn't say all that.
Did you tell Cole that I said hi?
I did,
Good.
and he said, "What's up, buddy?"
I still haven't met Cole,
You're gonna meet him.
despite the amount of time I've heard his voice.
You're
and I still haven't met him.
you're gonna meet him because you're going on a chase with us one of these days. You've got it. You're gonna be our camera guy one day.
14 years
Yeah.
later. I need a camera to shoot.
I have my camera.
You do.
You know my camera apparently more than me.
That is very true. I just know how to work a camera, a video camera.
Yeah.
Let's just say that,
Yeah.
and a little bit of actual camera. work.
camera work.
But like
Yeah.
video cameras are what I'm good at.
Yeah. So
Hell,
But-
I could probably shoot some good stuff on my phone.
yeah. So, and I mean, when we start eventually streaming, I would like to have you.
Ooh, if we do a mobile streaming setup, that's gonna be a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, because
That's-
we're gonna need.
that's really complicated stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of help, and
especially with doing it through storms.
yeah. So, but again, like I said, we don't really travel into the storm too much. We let it kind of come to us, but we
Yeah,
don't-
but
we stay out of the bad parts. So like the hail, the heavy rain. So like the core of the storm, we're mostly to the east, letting them pass just off to our west, or to the west of them behind the storms sometimes, essentially, and we let them travel to our just to our north and cross the road just to our east. So we're not really in the storms, but we're around it just to so it's going to be a lot of maintenance, but I think it'd be nice to have a tech guy someone who's dealt with
I'll
tech.
be your tech guy and camera operator and
Yeah.
stuff. Because I just think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
And you get more mics, we can mic up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's why I said, it'd be awesome. And then live stream. I know the streaming would be kind of.
I'm thinking about it. If we get enough of a following, we can live stream on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
And
we can just do
guys,
that.
Go subscribe on YouTube.
I'll be sure to link it in the description of this episode.
Please.
But we can live stream from our phones too,
Mhm.
which I completely forgot of. I was thinking of more complicated setups.
Like on camera, like
yeah,
GoPro.
well, I was
stuff
thinking
like
of
that.
like if we wanted to use more professional cameras and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Well,
equipment.
we're gonna have a computer. We're gonna have two computers.
I meant camera specifically.
Well, I was saying, yeah, because I'm gonna have to watch the stream to make sure everything is fine on the camera, to make sure that everything is working correctly and stuff like that. We're gonna have to link the camera to the, but also to that's HDMI. We get HDMI it and it'll be.
Well, the thing about that is
Mhm.
a lot of like traveling setups for live streaming
Mhm.
is that they like leave a PC on at the house
Mhm.
and then they stream it to that PC, which then live streams it.
Mhm.
So I don't know how well that would work if we would do it from a laptop. We would need like a very, very stable internet connection. I don't think like a hotspot is gonna cover that.
Yeah.
Probably something like a computer with
computer
an Ethernet
with
cord
an Ethernet
plugged in.
cable. Yeah, or like something like that.
Just so we have
Um,
constant stability.
Yeah.
We don't got to worry about like the Wi-Fi going out or
Yeah,
anything.
and that's another thing is like storm chasing. You need a lot of money for it. It's quite expensive, gas, and then if you want to live stream, you need a constant like network source. So
I would
some
say
people have Starlinks.
It can be
It
expensive.
yeah,
You can probably do it for the cheap
Yeah.
as long as you have a car.
yeah.
But yeah, for like more professional setups,
Yeah.
it will be expensive.
It will be. Which
I would love.
me
I
and
would
Cole are
love
probably gonna
if y'all
do.
would get like one of those giant vans that's got like the satellite.
Yeah, I
thing,
know.
the dish set up on the top,
Yeah.
and like the
That'd be dope. That'd be great for
or like get like an RV or
yeah.
something and trick that out. It'll be like the RV from Ben 10.
Yeah.
So it's got like computers
Yeah.
on the wall and everything.
The only thing I'd say about that is that Cole would hate it because he loves trucks.
Yeah, it would be probably not the best to drive.
Yeah.
In like a storm situation.
Yeah, because that's a lot of wind coming at your side, and I mean, we all know physics.
Trucks are big though as
Yeah.
well.
Well, they're
Well,
more aerodynamic.
Smaller
than
than an
vans.
RV. But
Yeah. So
yeah, a regular O van.
yeah, the bigger they are, the harder they
The
fall.
harder they fall.
So, but yeah, again, back to the sorry guys, back to the nitty gritty. Your chase is your preference, but before you get out there, you want to make sure that you have some sort of before you chase type of kit, or like a bag of some sort to hold these certain items. You want to always make sure you have some sort of handy dandy medical care kit, a flashlight, puncture protection boots, another pair of shoes, like tennis shoes or anything like that, a jacket, spare jacket. Of course, you want a phone, duh. Call 911 and, you know, to be able to communicate with everybody.
Probably
a walkie-talkie.
A sat phone would be good too.
Exactly.
If you can afford it.
Exactly. Glow sticks, surprisingly. I did look this up. It's just another way you could identify. So say if you're out on a chase and you have specific people with you, you put on those glow sticks and you're able to identify your people.
Color coordinate.
Yeah, because it's going to be dark. Especially if you're helping out with damage and stuff like that. Oh, it's going to be dark. So flashlight, glow sticks, a helmet, like a hard hat, just in case, like say hail, don't want to get hit in the head with a tennis ball, baseball size, or
It won't be from the sky. It's because it'll be from when I throw it.
You just want to make sure you want to protect your head.
Giant catch.
Burn.
Throws a
KO.
baseball-sized ice hail
And
at
then, well, that and then grapefruit apparently.
Oh yeah,
those are balls.
just like toss it up and
Yeah.
down. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
A safety vest, like a highlighter
Yeah.
vest, just so whenever people are coming up with their, especially when they come into towns that just got hit at night, they're going to be able to see you with that highlighter vest on. You could direct traffic and everything like that. Make sure people don't go near power lines and such like that. Cones, a can of spray paint, so you can spray paint a house to tell others that it's already been searched. How many people were in the house? What is just you want to make sure that you have some sort of can of spray paint so you can tell others that the houses have been searched and such like that. Other than the medical care kit, this may be something that you can't help, but you want to have some sort of first aid certification or and search and rescue training. So you can conduct, for example, a hailing search or a line search, which is a line search. You get in line, like a line side by side, you walk forward,
Oh yeah, I know.
3 steps. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they link up.
They'll link up, walk forward, turn. Sometimes you do, if you're not arm linked, you'll just do a 360. And if you see something, of course, you'll be able to call it out, and then you'll have a buddy and you'll help that person and get them to medevac.
Seems like a human like sonar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Person spotted.
Person
spotted.
Exactly. And then I this is me. I would have this because I do a megaphone. Because say if someone's trapped under and they really can't hear you well or something like that, or I don't know, but
some type of
loud device.
Whistle.
Yeah.
Could probably work too.
Just something that people would be able to hear because if you need somebody specific, say like when ambulances come on the scene, and they're rushing to get people into the ambulances, or they're trying to get people on the stretchers and such so we can, load them into the ambulances. They're going to want to know your location. So you're going to want to have one person with a megaphone just ready. And you're going to want to send one person that kind of knows the location of that other person to be able to lead those people back. And so you can help people in the process. And the biggest thing of all, I know we're talking about, tragic, the worst situation possible, but have fun while you're out there, but just be ready to help when it's needed. And that's like the main thing I want you all to get out of this is every chase is going to be different. Every chase, you're going to face different areas or different possibilities of something happening. Each tornado is not going to be the exact same, and it's never going to be that way. Each tornado has different characteristics. You can have skinny ropes, but they produce violent damage. You can have massive looking tornadoes, but they only do EF1 damage. Sometimes, the NWS finds that those tornadoes that are somewhat larger produce very minor damage, but their wind speeds are vastly different. But essentially, it's the NWS. Their words go, and what they say has to go until we get a better understanding of what these things are, in a sense. All right, and that all off to say this. Every chase is going to be different, and you're going to struggle. It's the mentality that you go in every chase with that'll guide you through it all. You maintain a positive outlook on it, you'll succeed. I promise you that, because I've been told this several times. Every time I've gone out on a chase and I have moments where I feel like giving up because, say, I made a navigational error, my buddy Cole cheers me up. I make a call, it's the right call. Taking a minute to realize that every mistake isn't going to be a detriment to your chase, because you're going to have moments where you make mistakes, and that's fine. Just don't let it affect you to the point to where you're gonna make a mistake every single time. Don't let it, because then you got the potential of someone either getting hurt, or you're gonna a lot of things are gonna happen. Just maintain a positive outlook and you'll succeed. I can promise you that. Thank you guys so very much for helping me reach 100 plus plays on Spotify already. It's been a massive, massive blessing. And I've had a ton of fun with these episodes and talking with such wonderful chasers and my goofy editor.
Yeah, wonderful chasers. That's me.
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to be a chaser soon.
Derecho.
What's a derecho?
Something to do with weather. It's hurricanes or thunderstorms.
Anyway, it's been a journey already, and I've learned a lot from this. With each episode to come, there will be more and more to learn, and I just want to say that I'm ready for it. Again, thank you so much, and I hope you've enjoyed this 1 hour special, or 1 hour plus special, of Inside the Mind of a Storm Chaser. Goodbye, guys.